Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, which is going to be a good edition as well. In fact, it's the first one of the 2014 year, and nice to have you with us, but you're on your travels immediately.
Yeah, I've got the Australian Horse Sales, Magic Million Horse Sales, one of our sponsors. They've got their sales, a few South Africans going over, which is good news.
Have you got a good team going over?
Yeah, a fairly nice team, you know. Michael Lassie's coming over with Adrian van Vuren, who's been a big player in the market here and internationally. And Waiho's coming this year. There's a good few people coming out.
Oh, so it looks like it's going to be very good for South Africa. Buy some more.
Yeah, buy some nice horses. Yeah.
Well, it's always a fantastic sale, the Magic Millions, and we've been telling you all about them, and we'll be going over for the June sale. But we're going to go straight into our three to follow. Right, well, we're going to go and have a look at some races which we thought were quite interesting this week. I'm not so sure if they're worth following, but I think that they're certainly worth having a look at. Kenilworth, Saturday, the 4th of January. If ever I've seen a horse that should have won, that didn't win, this was it. Race 5, 1800 meter, fillies and mares, handicap 76. Well, I got to ask you, just watch the last 100 meters. We're going to go from the beginning and show you how going on my own way gets beaten. Let's go and pick it up.
Yeah, easy to pick up here. Trap 1 coming out. It runs in those famous shirt-lift silks, so they're very easy to pick out. It's Mark Bass trained horse, Grant van Niekerk rides it. Gets a beautiful jump, gets it settled into a position. The speed is on early. Mari, who's in the red cap in front, shows good pace and runs a place. And up there as well, the Call of the Hunt starting to move on the outside. So it looks a good gallop. And if you look back to 5th place on the fence here, James, you will see when it comes into view, there's Marsha's horse going well.
And right behind it is the winner, Black Kitten in famous Van Hastings colours, Brahms colours. There's no possible way that going my own way can get beaten all the way up the straight. Looks like it's
it always looks like it's travelling well. It's a sedate pace. The leader, who is Maury, has pricked her ears out in front, and the horse running second. Call of the Hunt is relaxed. So it's a nice sedate gallop. And I was watching this race, and I thought, well, this horse is going to win with going my own way. And as they start fanning out into stretch, the winner elects to go out, James.
Well, the winner's got to go out. Van Niekerk gets the run right up the inside, and Carl Nisius rides a brilliant race on the winner. And he looks out to his left, the guy behind him. Now he goes out to the right. And it's quite interesting to see Van Niekerk look across at him. And I don't know what he looked across at, but you'll see about now he takes a little look left, or he's taking a look
that's
left.
Right. He looks right. He looks at everything.
Looks right at him.
Yeah. He looks. There he goes. There's his look right. There's a horse in his inside, but the Van Hastings yellow colours, they're coming between them. But just looking here, I thought, going my own way, I would have put hands down, has got them beat. Even though the other runner's really making a bold effort up the middle.
Yeah. Here the stick comes out on the winner, and Van Niekerk hasn't even gone for the stick now. Now he shows it a few times. Now he puts his hand down. Now he shows it a few more times.
I think he might have been caught napping. I might be wrong. He might have been caught napping because he quickens it up late because he sees the source on his outside. So going my own way, get on it next time.
This was looking for a 3-timer, this filly. She's by Sale from Seattle, and the new stallion there.
Isn't he doing well?
Yeah, he's doing very well. And this looks like a really nice filly. Big, strong filly. And I'm going to follow her anyway. I thought that she was the unluckiest loser I've seen for a long, long time.
Okay.
But we're going to move on and go and have a look at Kenilworth again. That's where the big racing is. And we're going to go and look at the same day, race 7. This is an interesting one because this horse is bred to go twice the distance. And I think this run will show you that he should go twice the distance. Capel Top, Argentine, bred son of Giant's Causeway.
Oh, lovely.
Let's go and pick him up.
This is a 6 furlong dash. And you'll see the field when they get it rolling now does try and split into two. One horse goes down the inside but doesn't feature. There's the horse we found. It's in the Mary Slacks Vogelbos colours. Very easy. He throws his head at the gate and Carl says, well, I'm going to cover it up. And he goes across. Down the inside, Happy Lion is the Lone Ranger down the inside. That's selected to keep to its station. But going towards the outside of the course, you've got Domani, who ends up being the runner-up, running a very good race, showing good speed as well. And the horse that we found is not in the photo at the moment, James.
I don't think you'll see him for quite a long time either. He's in the black with the red cap, not that black with the red cap. That's Crabier's horse, Happy Lion, leading down the inside. But he's second last at the moment. Interestingly enough, this horse has been gelded after his run in Selangor, and I think they're teaching him a lesson here, teaching him to settle. But he sweated. You got a great saying, sweated like a rapist. Yeah. He sweated like a rapist, this horse, on the way to the start. He settled in behind. Here he's got absolutely no chance.
He's got the nose bent.
Yeah. The winner, Silver Bluff's going through between them there with Sean Cormack aboard. Goes on to win his race. Now Capel Top goes up the inside, right up the middle of the track. And just
eating up the ground.
Eating up the ground.
Yeah, you've got to be with Capel Top. Very, very nice run.
Okay, we're going to go from there to Sunday the 5th of January. We've got juveniles running in KwaZulu-Natal. And the Glen Cotson stable stepped out a very nice juvenile, very unluckily beaten on the post, although the winner came from miles behind them and won a very good race. The tailwind, they're going like the clappers, but this was the nicest filly in the race. Big, strong filly. I went to the races to see these horses, and this is a very, very nice filly owned by our mate Finlayson.
Oh, yeah, John. Yeah. Let's go and have a look at the race, because the hot pot favourite all day was Bazinga. Now, Bazinga's Arthur Marcus's rider was very green and beaten on his debut run. Here's the horse we found. This is in John Finlayson's colours, and this is Garden Treasure. It was backed in, found a lot of support. Up the middle of the track, your favourite Bazinga is off like a dirty shirt. And there it goes, it's leading. And watching the race, I thought, well, Garden Treasure is going to grab it late. The eventual winner is behind Garden Treasure, 4-5 lengths back, and that's an Ad Idem, which is a jet master of Michael de Kock's.
Yeah, interestingly enough, this filly, Garden Treasures by Rebel King, who started off a bit slowly, but this is out of a hard-up mare. This has got to be quick, and she's a big, strong, good-looking filly. I like the look of her in the ring. She certainly doesn't look like a 5-furlong 2-year-old as she looks, and look at the way she gallops. She's got some action on her, this filly. Yeah. She can run.
She's got in front, and here, Stewie Randolph thinks, well, I've got the money. Unknown young DeMello comes flying on Adinem, but it's very green, the runner-up, the horse we're going to follow, and get caught very late.
Well, the winner win full of merit. Yes. She's a little thing. She didn't look like much. She's 800,000 Rand yearling, and she's a very nicely put together filly, and she might improve quite a lot if they put her away now. Beautifully bred, added them. But Garden Treasure, we think, will win its next start. Let's go and have a look at that one next time out. Okay, we're going to move on and have a look at the blast from the past, where we got the Queen's Plate. And this weekend, well, we'll talk about Queen's Plate in the current affairs segment.
Goes in, we're set to race, 1,600 metres. Gates are open, they've got him away to a perfect beginning. Gibraltar Blue along the inside landed running, but Variety Club is wasting no time from an outside stall, and he's scooting around them all to set the pace. Gibraltar Blue back at the rail, racing in second. Ebony Flyer is just in behind, he's third. Linkman settles in behind those fourth, then it's Gimme the Green Light and Chesalon. They being followed then by Bravura. The yellow cap is 3 deep on the outside of runners. Further back to Tales of Bravery, and he's settling 8 lengths off this leader. Lion in Winter in behind that. Kiss Again and Fabiani is your trailer. Gibraltar Blue, meantime, has got to the lead and skipped clear by 3. Variety Club tracks her in second. Ebony Flyer a length and a half further back with Linkman along the inside. Bravura's in behind that, then Gimme the Green Light and Chesalon 6 lengths off the lead. Tales of Bravery is in behind that. Lion in Winter keeps that one company. Kiss Again and Fabiani, the two at the back, and 9 lengths would cover them. They're about to spin in the stretch with just over 600 metres left to go. The filly Gibraltar Blue is out where she likes to be. She's clear by 3. Variety Club is tracking her in second. Linkman and Ebony Flyer race just in behind those. Chesalon further back. Bravura starting to unwind a run, and Gimme the Green Light is also trying to get into it. Meantime, Variety Club has come forward to eyeball Gibraltar Blue in front. They're a couple of lengths clear. Ebony Flyer is in behind those. Bravura's kicked on next. Variety Club has hit the front. Gimme the Green Light is coming out after him, and Bravura is behind those. Variety Club is out in front and clear. Gimme the Green Light is now coming to make a race of it. Variety Club is running on empty. Gimme the Green Light is storming home in the centre, and Gimme the Green Light gets up to beat Variety Club. They were then followed by Tales of Bravery. Bravura was further back. Ebony Flyer didn't go on with their effort, raced behind those.
Absolutely brilliant. Striker Stratum, just unbelievable.
He really is a superb rider, and he timed it right. As the commentator said, the Marcus horse, the top horse Variety Club, was running on empty late, a champion himself. And a lot of Group 1 winners in that race, even though he ran last. I think Linkman was a Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old. So it was a good field. But Gimme the Green Light's gone on to be a stallion in this country. Fantastic.
Well, I'm interested in watching how Stratum rides this horse, because he's 3 or 4 lengths behind Variety Club. And going through the 400, he starts pushing him, but he pushes him for a furlong. He does not go near the stick for a furlong, only when the horse is really running. And that's the mark of a champion jockey.
Yeah.
He's got the patience and the courage and the tenacity to push and push hard. And that's what I think our kids lack at the academy. They lack the strength and the learning to push horses for a long way. He pushed that horse for a furlong before he even went for the stick. Yeah, inside the last furlong, he went for the stick.
He really is a
brilliant,
very good rider. Yeah. So and Tales of Bravery, who's now in Mauritius, ran a very good race. Bravura's been a hard hit all his life. So a good field.
Very good field, and this year, no different. We'll be chatting about it in time to come. Let's go and have a look at the plum of the week.
Inside the 400, Shelley's Connection, Golden Mirabilis, Caviar's moving in, West End comes out for a run, sounds positive towards the inside. It's Caviar though with Shelley's Connection, and West End tries to run on, but Caviar comes home now, and Caviar hit the front over the last 100 to win going away, and Caviar's won it. West End second, sounds positive behind that, close for fourth, Glorious Moment and Shelley's Connection.
Well, 3-1 available on Interbet on this filly, and what a price. But we picked her up because, you know, Colin Scott's, he's been in hospital, he had a kidney removed, cancerous. He's been going through a tough time, and he's one of the nicest guys in racing. I chatted to Rob yesterday.
You don't meet much better than Colin Scott. He's an absolute gentleman. He's a good guy, gets on with his business quietly. Well respected in the industry, and I'm pleased to hear he's on the mend. I spoke to both the rider and his brother, who used to be Fat Boy, then was Handsome Boy. I spoke to Rob as well, and they're all very pleased. He's sitting in a chair, and MJ said he went and spoke to him, and he was really upbeat. And this will do him wonderful, do him a great deal of good having a winner with Caviar.
Yeah, well, it was a super winner, and you know, Carl, we wish you the best and speedy recovery. Looking forward to seeing you back at the stables from everyone at Winning Ways here. Anyway, let's move on, and we're going to have a look at the current affairs.
Right, current affairs. We had 2 graded races in South Africa this week, one up on the Highveld and one here. And on Friday night, we had the Flamboyant Stakes, which is a Group 3 run at Greyville, and into town strode the Alexander twins.
Well, only one of the twins.
Yeah, only one of the twins.
The good-looking one of the twins arrived.
Good-looking one strode into town.
Dean arrived, said he was worried about the track, worried about this, worried about that. He shouldn't have been worried about anything. He had the best horse in the race, and it won like the best horse in the race. So let's go and pick up Classic Illusion winning the Flamboyant.
1,600 metres, and away to go from the 1,600 metre marker. The 2 at the back early on, Misty Morn and Vino Veritas. Chestnut Model's right there. Dancier's trying to overcome that wide draw. Flitters in the yellow. Classic Illusions only a length and a half off them. Sacania's near the rail in the pink. On the outside of that one is Murmuring Sky. That race is 6 lengths off the first call. And then behind that, Vina Veritas. Orange Blossom had to be taken up and is very wide in the early stages. Along the inside of that is Joyful Spirit. Blowbird Beach is second to last. And Misty Morn trails about 10, 11 lengths off the leader. 900 to go in the Flamboyant Stakes, and Chestnut Model by 1 length. Dancier second. Flitter in the yellow is back in third, and Classic Illusion Black Blinkers is fourth. Then Sacania in the pink. That's 6 lengths off them. Half length in front of Murmuring Sky, Vina Veritas the rail. Red Blinkers of Joyful Spirit on the outside. Orange Blossom and Blowberg Beach, and then comes Misty Morn about 9 lengths off the lead. Homeward Bound in the Flamboyant Stakes, and Chestnut Model brings them in. Flitters in the yellow. Dancier's Classic Illusion hooked out to the middle and comes forward now. Vina Veritas behind that, then Sacania. Classic Illusion, the leader at the 200. Murmuring Sky tries to have a go at the leader, then Flitter, but Classic Illusion has gone clear. Murmuring Sky is the only danger at this stage, and Classic Illusion continues to roll. Classic Illusion's going to win it. Classic Illusion won the Flamboyant. Murmuring Sky second. Orange Blossom third, then Blowbird Beach, Misty Morn and Flitter.
Superb performance, thought of Cahal from Summerhill. Nice for Bruce and the gang. And James has also earned just under $500,000 now.
This is a very good filly, and it's the first time I've seen her ridden from up there, which is, well, I think, the way she needs to be ridden. She often comes from way behind this filly. I think she's a very good filly, and I think that she'll go on from here. The Cahal fillies, very good fillies. You know.
Very good stallion, Cahal. And well done to all concerned with this. They decided to pick the spot, and they came into town. A very good ride from Simanga Kumalo, who, as James said, set it up there, turned for home. It was basically a race over the way quick, and more races to come here.
Absolutely. Well done to the Alexander boys, as the twins, as we like to call them. And, they don't often come down into town, but good to see them here. And sorry, the connections, and Bruce and Joe went here,
Yeah, I thought they might be in town. And Greg,
they're probably cruising in Mgazi,
that's
with some
right.
family.
They're somewhere.
That's where they end up. Anyway, we're going to take a little break because we've got some racing to come, and we'll be back with the rest of Current Affairs. Right, well, we're back again here with Current Affairs. Left, we've got another feature.
We've got the Labella Sprint. That was run up in Gauteng. And again, we saw a situation where a raider went in, a fancied raider. Patrick Lunn sent Mr. Whatever, managed to keep Arthur Marcus on it. And to a lot of people, it looked to be the horse to beat.
I certainly thought it was a blinder in the race, and it was quite interesting how the form worked out from the big sprint that was run on Summer Cup Day. It didn't quite fall into place the way it should have. But interesting race, and let's go and pick up Mr. Whatever in Johannesburg, who got beaten, and a very good race.
14 Labello Sprint. They all set, speeds on, and they are racing away. A good even start. Now Magico just getting a squeeze. Jade Bay, grandstand side, the first to respond. She's a Stunner is handy. Gold Sart, Rodeo Dandy's up towards the inside, just a length away. Mr. Whatever, and the blue sleeves and cap is 2 lengths from the leader. Desert Chic is alongside it. Then comes Miss October. They followed by Dolomiti, Cahaladin. Those two race together up towards the inside rail. Nastrad is further back in the run. Gold Sart. Here comes Billy. Blue sleeves and cap is towards the middle outside. Magico, Kinematic, Countess. Into the last 400 metres, and Jade Bay goes quickest. Mr. Whatever is down the inside. It's got a length to make up. Then comes Tiger Territory further back to She's a Stunner. Mr. Whatever's now all over Jade Bay, who lugs inwards. Jade Bay with a nose in front. Mr. Whatever, the doctor's now out. There's little to choose between them. She's a Stunner is in the middle, and Kinematic Countess on the grandstand side is also lifting late as Jade Bay holding on, and Jade Bay's won it. Jade Bay photo for second. Mr. Whatever and She's a Stunner are involved, and Miss October.
Well, what a race. It ended up very interesting. They all went down the inside.
Watching the race, I thought the visitor was going to win. I thought Arthur gave it a perfect ride. Funny enough, the eventual winner, well, the horse who stayed on to win it, Jade Bay, lugged right across the course, seemed to be hanging
I think he often does, Jade Bay. He seems to hang across, but he's been a hell of a good horse, Jade Bay.
He's always been good. Dominic Zakis was Gavarina. Well done to them and the owners. It was a gutsy win, but if one looks at the replay, Miss October showed speed and then rallied again. It was a good run. Not Miss October, sorry. She's a Stunner.
Yeah.
And Miss October flew.
Yeah, ran a cracking good race. She's quite good, Miss October. She flew last time. She ran in the Merchants. That was the race that I was thinking of. She beat Here Comes Billy easily. That.
So this is a good filly. So it was a very good run. Mr. Whatever beaten 0.40. So they nearly pulled it off. The Lunds. Well done for trying. But at the end of the day, Jade Bay, Gab Lorena, Dominic Zaki, the clients. Well done to them.
Right, let's go and talk about the Queen's Plate. We've got the Queen's Plate this weekend, and here's the race card is out. Queen's Plate race card. Can't miss what's going on there. It's a fantastic day's racing. Unfortunately, I went on the website this morning, and it didn't seem to be working properly. It was going on and off and on and off, so maybe they'll get up and get the website going. Jono Snaith, get the business going so people can...
Come on, Jono.
Us dummos can see what's going on, but we got the race card, so we don't even need to worry. First big race is the Peninsula Laf, Grade 2, and Master of My Fate. The supposed champion gets his warm-up for the Met.
He's very, very good. I've seen Drawn Deep. A race, funny enough, that I've won, James, with Pinero.
I think you won a lot of races on this card. There's the next race you won as well.
That's right. I won the Politician Stakes last year. I was fourth in the... haven't got close in the Met, though.
No.
Haven't seen a Lafferty horse in the Met. Right, but let's go through this race, James. It's interesting that we're talking about Master of My Fate. Really looks good. What's your take?
Yeah, this is as it says in the computer form. This is the test for him. This is where he comes up against horses that are supposedly got the ability. The Kaiser, that might be the key to
Master
this race.
Sabina.
Yeah, definitely ran a great race in the Summer Cup. And then obviously, I think a horse that's a big outsider is Awesome Power.
Yeah.
Going back over the staying trips, I've always liked this horse. They turned down a lot of money for this horse when he was a 3-year-old, and they might get their payment back here. And he'll be a big price. He's worth putting into everything. But
yeah,
Hot Tickets also fancied for the Met. There's a couple of people out there that fancy him for the Met. There's a good Met trial this race.
Yeah, that's right. I think the way Master My Fate won last time, he's a very good horse. And I think he'll beat this field. But as you say, it's his big test at this stage. He goes into Group 2, and all stations go, it looks, James.
Well, the next race is the most interesting race I've ever seen. It's the Politician Stakes. And reading on the websites, funny enough, it was brought up on ABC, and I think Jahan Malherbe brought up a very, very strong letter about it.
What did he write, James?
Go and have a look at Roman Manor and the horse of Canamaz. That's not in here, unfortunately.
What is it, scratch?
Yeah, but... in fact, they ran 5th and 6th in the Guineas. Okay,
yes.
The horse that ran 5th raced off an 87 and went to over 100. The horse that ran 6th ran off an 89. Okay, finished, was a neck behind it and stayed in 89 because of this ridiculous rule. Okay, that they have as far as merit rating is concerned. They can handicap the horses that ran in the first 5, but they can't touch a horse that ran 6th.
Even though it's a head or short head behind.
It's ridiculous. These horses met at level weights. They finished ahead amongst each other. Next time they meet on a handicap term, the one's got to give the other 6 kilos or 6.5.
So did Johan have a dig?
Well, he just pointed it out. And,
okay, but James, looking at this race,
right.
I really think there's a come-on horse here in Helderberg Blue.
Helderberg Blue, very nice horse.
It's a good race to find out how good he is. He's won well. He's coming from behind. He's taking on horses that have ability with merit ratings in the 90s. I think we were higher last year, but Strongman has always shown ability.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is Strongman is off a 96, and he ran 11th, 6.4 lengths behind Roman Manor. Roman Manor's got a lower race figure than him. He's got to give Roman Manor 3 kilos now.
How good is Roman Manor, James?
Well, he ran 6th in the Guineas, and on that run, he'd be impossible to beat.
Those Guineas, the first 3 or 4 in the Guineas were very good horses.
He'd be impossible to beat here. He's a good thing.
So you think he's going to beat Helderberg Blue?
I think he'll beat everything.
Okay.
Right.
James loves to have make a statement. That's right, James. Don't sit in the fence. Make a statement.
Make a statement. That's what we're here for. Race 8, the Paddock Stakes.
This is perennially a great race, James. It's a Group 1 for the fillies, and I'm very keen to hear what you've got to say about this race.
Well, I think Beach Beauty will murder them. I think she's very, very good. I think she's better than all these fillies, and I think that she'll win.
I think I'm going to go with Gavin van Zyl's horse, Along Came Polly. Now, what's interesting, the other day you and I sat here after Fillies Guineas and we bemoaned the fact that there were 2 unlucky horses in the race. I think yours was Lana Falcon, who was runner-up, who ran a great race, and mine was Along Came Polly. Fancy a little wager who'll finish closer to front?
Yeah, I'd have a little wager with you, but unfortunately, I'm not going to. I'm with Beach Beauty.
Okay. All right.
I think Beach Beauty
She's
will
a
give them a
superb filly,
galloping
Beach
lesson.
Beauty. She's done it all, but Along Came Polly
And
is
you
a
know,
Group 1 winner too.
Listen, us KwaZulu-Natal boys have got to stick together. So
Where do you think Along Came Polly comes
well,
from?
that's
Lebanon?
right. Listen, that's why I don't want to have a bet, because I certainly don't
Correct.
want to support Walter against the KwaZulu-Natal
Walter's in with a
boys.
chance. Walter's
He's
got
one
some
of my
good runners.
best mates, but
Yes.
I cannot support him against the KwaZulu-Natal boys.
Yeah,
He said to me that yesterday, he sent me a whole lot of texts. Anyway, the one thing, I've still got a room there, you know, can want to
That's
stay
it,
with
no,
him
no.
in that palatial mansion on
Thank
on
God
the
he's
golf
not
course.
Carol.
Yeah, well, thank God, yeah. Carol and
Carol's a superstar.
and the
the
boy
kids.
and the girl, you know, the team, you know. Marky?
Yeah, got him Marky. Marky's a
Candace.
good golfer, I believe. But anyway, let's talk about the race before we go to Paddock State. So you're very, very strong on Beach Beauty, even though there's a 6 kilo pull for the younger horses. Alaskan Maidens placed in the Group 1, Long Came Polly, Lana Falcon. Useful horses, James.
Yeah, but they're not Beach Beauty.
Okay, we'll live with that. Beach Beauty draw 10, and the other runners, Long Came Polly 6, Lana Falcon 11, Alaskan Maiden 8. Interesting race, but great racing and a fantastic race. It's the Main Chance Farms Paddock Stakes.
Yeah, well done to Main Chance Farm. Stepped up to the plate and support fillies races. I think that there's Wilgerbosdrift, there are a number,
Yes.
Drockenstein, a number of these big farms support these fillies races, Highlands, and I think that's great. And
Yeah, well done to them.
Let's stick with them.
The big one.
Omarons, Queen's Plate. Well,
Now, you're entitled, if you win this, to go and be eligible to run in the Breeders' Cup Mile or some Breeders'
Yeah.
Cup race, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
They're really, really, really done well, Lormerans. Well done to them. And the Snaith twins, they got involved, especially Jonna, to make this a spectacular day. I wonder how many runners the Snaiths still have.
I'll tell you how many runners the Snakes
you got
will
the
have.
book,
I got the
correct.
book here.
How many?
This is their day.
This is their day.
Geez, yeah, they take up a whole page. 2, 5, 8, 9, 4, 13, 15, 16, 19, 21, 22, 26, 28, 34 runners, more than my stable, by 10.
Well, there we go. You can see why James has still got an abacus. He took so long to
Still
work
got
that out.
attitude. That's what I've got.
Attitude
Never
and an
mind
abacus.
my
But
abacus.
here's the interesting. I'm going to start. I like throwing things at you
Did
because
you like the way I added that?
That was very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
I don't
James,
think there are many people in my age that could even see without their glasses to add that up.
Horse of the Year is out of town.
Yeah.
Jackson used to chase home the Horse of the Year in this. He's obviously got bigger races to concern himself with, but it's a wonderfully huge race in its own. Is he good enough to win the mile against these horses, Jackson?
I think so.
So you're in with him again, eh?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, the
I'm gonna
Dangers,
go with
Cape Town Noir, wonderful miler.
Yeah, very good miler. Gets plumb draw, third run after arrest, everything absolutely perfect for him. And then Red Ray. Red Ray is the key. Okay. How good are the
You starting to
3-year-olds?
like my 3-year-olds. Red Ray. What about this? I was going to talk about another horse with you, James. Royal Zulu Warrior. What a record he's got.
Yeah,
What a good horse, James. He ran a cracker in the Summer Cup. He won the build-up to it. He's a very good horse. This might be more to his liking trip-wise.
I'm not so sure.
The draws against him, James, but he gets Anthony Delpech.
Draws against him, goes around the left-hand track. I know he's run at Clearwood a couple of times. He did win by 6 lengths when he won a merit-rated 78, 86. He's a top horse, but he's been on a hard campaign, this horse. He's running some big races in Johannesburg, travelled to Durban, to Cape Town at least. I don't think that you can beat the hometown boys with this type of campaign.
Well, then, James, let me ask you another race I want to put the look at. Ice Machine and King of Pain. They both ran good races the other day. With the horse like Cape Town Noir behind him, would they have a squeak?
Yeah, I think King of Pain would have a squeak. I think that Ice Machine, got the run of him. But although he did come from behind him, I thought he was absolutely brilliantly ridden. King of Pain, I think, will run well. Yorko is your favourite horse.
My favourite horse.
Yeah.
I've stuck by him, and he's come through for me. He's a very, very good horse. Has he got the speed to win a mile, James?
I don't think so. I honestly believe that Jackson will come good here.
He's a very good horse,
I think this is his race. I think this is where we'll see him at his
And just
best.
looking at the weights, only one who gets a pull in the weights is Red Ray, which is right.
Well, Red Ray's the
young horse.
The young horse. It will be very interesting to see. It's always this time of the year is a good time of the year to see how the younger horses, that crop goes against the older crop. And I think that this is the point of this
James,
day.
the point I want to ask you before we move off it is that these races, a lot is determined by the pace. Now, Arthur rides Red Ray, off a lighter weight, drawn 9. Options go.
I would think you'll be up there.
I can't find pacemaker. They don't jump out at me.
I just no worries is probably the pacemaker. Striker likes to go to the front, and he rode this horse last time. He got beaten 4 legs by Master of My Fate.
Did he didn't go to the front that day?
He did go to the front.
Did he?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, he was certainly up there
in the
and then
vanguard.
hit the front going through the 200. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure that he won't go to the front.
So again,
Or,
James.
or Marcus. Marcus got to have a chance of
Ray.
going to the front. But
every year it's a great race.
yeah, I've got to be with Jackson.
So I just
think
noticed,
Jackson-
looking at you and your selections, you're going for the top weights.
I'm going for the best horses in the race. I think in weight for age races, you can't go far wrong going for the best horses in the race. The handicappers have handicapped them like this. Sometimes we pick holes in them, as we've done earlier in the show, but I think that they've got it right. He's
Yeah.
the best horse around, apart from Variety Club, who's not here.
It makes for such fabulous racing. Well, James, and for you who are listening, James is big 4 in those features. Master of My Fate, Roman Manor, Beach Beauty, Jackson. Is that accurate?
Well, Master of My Fate, I think it's a big test for him.
Oh, you think he
It's,
could get beat?
I'm not sure that he'll win, but he's won very convincingly. He's got a lot to do in this race. If you look at the way the race is set up, you've got some good hard knockers that are below him in the weights. Horses that Master Sabina is very good. He's got to give him 2 kilos.
Yeah.
He's got to give Hot Ticket 2.5 kilos. He's got to give the Kaiser 6 kilos, or 52 to 59, 7 kilos.
Yeah.
That's
that
he's
could
a good
steady
horse,
things
the Kaiser.
up. Could steady up the ship. James is right.
There are a couple of horses down here towards the bottom of the weights. Awesome Power, he's got to get 7 kilos. He's a good horse, Awesome Power. And don't worry about his form. He's going back over the right type of trip. He's had 3 runs over 1,200 meters. This horse has run very close to the best horses around. He ran 1.5 lengths behind Cape Town Noir in a very good race. He's got form at levels, so...
All right, James. So all in all, great day's racing. If you can get down there, it's a wonderful day. Well done to everyone involved with the Lormerans Queen's Plate Day, and well done to Main Chance, Conan Boy, and all the breeders who are supporting it, and the Snaith Twins for what they've done. It's a great day, great fashions, a day not to be missed.
Absolutely.
James, let's talk about what some other points while we're still in current affairs. You were telling me about the Newmarket trainers setup.
Well, there's a new trainer has arrived in Newmarket, a guy called Charlie Fellows. He's got some stables there. And I was interested in reading in the website on Charlie Fellows. It's written by John Berry's wife. She writes a little article. And she's saying there are 77 trainers in Newmarket. 77.
Just Newmarket?
In Newmarket alone. Okay?
Wow.
Newmarket, England. And only 3,000 horses at the top of at the height of the season. So 3,000 horses and 77 trainers. Clarewood, we're going to have 1,600 horses. I mean, Scott's...
Just try
where
again.
is it?
Summerfeld.
Is it Summerfeld?
Is it
Yeah,
Summerfeld?
Summerfeld.
Summerfeld, yeah. Summerfeld's going to have a lot of horses, yeah. But it's interesting, James, with there's so many trainers there, I don't know how many of them have got small strings or big strings. There must be some massive strings, the Michael Stouts and the
Oh,
people
yeah.
like it.
There's
Now,
some,
Michael de Kock is called one of the Newmarket trainers.
oh, yes.
And
He's
how many
Michael
would,
de Kock's, as
British
we hear,
license.
we have an interview later with Michael de Kock where he'll tell you that he is now getting his license as a British trainer, British trainer's license, which is not an easy thing to get.
is it not?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, James, let's talk about jockeys from South Africa and from Zimbabwe doing very, very well. Let's start with young Mr. Nienaber.
Yeah, Nienaber rode a winner in Dubai the other day. Apparently he rode a very good race. I didn't get to see it, but I picked it up on the ABC that he rode a very good race. And then obviously Mark Duplessis won the Railway Stakes Group 1 in
I don't know
New
why it's
Zealand.
obvious.
On
Bounding.
Bounding, yeah. Just quickly before we go, because we haven't got much time, Gary Stevens was voted the sporting comeback of the year in America. You know, against everyone else, every other sport, horse racing, the jockey Gary Stevens was the sporting comeback of the year.
Fantastic. More comebacks than
All right,
a few people I know, but a wonderful person.
Yeah.
How old would he be, just before we finish with Gary Stevens? He's in his 50s.
50.
Oh, is he 50?
But we got to close now because we got to go and have a look at Dubai. You know, Dubai is starting up. Next week we'll be chatting to Mike de Kock on the show, and we show a race every week, which is a South African success. And although this wasn't a success, it was a heartbreak of a race. It was a success for South Africa because this was a little homegrown boykie, nearly won the richest race in the world, and so nearly. So let's go and have a look at that. And then if you'd like to go to Dubai, you give Phil Georgia a call. Let's Go Travel. Their slide will come up after this.
They're racing in the Dubai World Cup. Crowded house, a little slow to go. Lizard's Desire dropping back after the break. Gloria de Campeo began well, and more to Bob Bray, and Mastery came out quickly. Twice Over settling just behind the face, and Vision d'Etat going through in the centre. Then Elibar's White Cap on the rail, followed by Japan's Red Desire. Mr. Brock travelling out deep as Twice Over drifts back. Gaetano Hernando goes up on the rail. A length away, Gio Ponte on the inside of Furthest Land. A length and a half to Lizard's Desire. Richard's Kid is second last, and Crowded House whip the field in as they turn into the back. 1,500 metres left to go, and Gloria de Campeo led by a length and a quarter. Amor de Pop Bray is second, with Mr. Brock 3/4 of a length away, striding to third. Mastery fourth, one deep on the outside of Ali Bar. A length away is Red Desire on the inside of Twice Over. Gaetano Hernando going up on the rail, and 3/4 of a length away. Vision d'Etat's striped colours poking through in the centre. Lizard's Desire, yellow and blue on the fence on the inside of Gio Ponte. Furthest Land from America travelling 3 wide. 2 lengths to Richard's Kid, and 3/4 of a length away is Crowded House as Gloria de Campeo takes them past the 800 metres mark. Out of the back of the Maidan track, and Gloria de Campeo a half length in front of Amor de Pop Bray, edging closer. Mr. Brock third, Alibar fourth on the inside. A half length away, Mastery, then Twice Over. Red Desire, followed by Gaetano Hernando on the fence, needing luck. Vision d'Etat under pressure from Lizard's Desire, Furthest Land. Further back was Crowded House and Richard's Kid as they're in the straight. 350 to run, and Gloria de Campeo in front. Mr. Brock lays down the gauntlet. Twice Over deeper out, then Ali Bar, followed by Gio Ponte and Red's Desire. Gloria de Campeo but led 100 metres to go. Ali Bar into the clear, flashing. Lizard's Desire flashing. Gloria de Campeo in front. Lizard's Desire lunging, and it's tight. Lizard's Desire lunged to Gloria de Campeo. It's a nose finish in the Dubai World Cup. Alibar's run third, and then Gaetano Hernando, Mastery, Richard's Kid, Gio Ponte, Mr. Brock, followed by Amor de Pop Bray, Crowded House, Vision d'Etat, Twice Over, Furthest Land, and Red Desire. Wait for the judge.
Hope he has.
Lizard's Desire on the outside is lunged to Gloria de Campeo.
The world's first $4 million photo. Lizard's Desire, Gloria de Campeo on the line. That is close. Ali Bar's third. 6 million for first, 2 million for second. Kevin passing the line was adamant he'd won. He's clearly in front just after the line, but this is close. Gloria de Campeo, runner-up in the race 12 months ago. Brilliant ride from Tiago Pereira. Stacked them up, got a break. You really could hear a pin drop. What an astonishing change of atmosphere from the roar of the crowd to the quiet as everyone waits for this to be called. Gio Ponte, Mastery next. Gaetano Hernando got a torrid run. So did Twice Over. Red Desire never with a chance. Vision d'Etat well beaten, as indeed was Furthest Land. Well, as a jockey now you're tense. Kevin Shea is celebrating and...
Well, you know, the inside jockey obviously thought he got beat, but, you know, that free range very, very tight.
It is very, very tight indeed. Look at that. Near side Lizard's Desire, Mike de Kock's runner.
Ahmed thinks Kevin's won. That is so close. That, on that, Gloria de Campeo is a real chance.
I think you're right.
That is...
But Richard, could we have a dead heat?
Well, we've had one dead heat in the history of World Cup racing, when Right Approach and Paolini dead heated.
It's close. I don't think it's a dead heat.
Yeah. Well, Gloria de Campeo on the inside for Pascal Berry, Stefan Freeberg, who's been a great supporter of the carnival. It's a terrific effort by Gloria de Campeo. It's a bomb-proof horse. They're showing the freeze frame on the big screen. You can hear the gasp. This is so, so close. Tiago Pereira is now... Still nothing called. Gloria de Campo on the inside. Every time you see those slow phrases, you know, as regards head bobs, it's favouring Gloria de Campeo in the sense that, you know, on even strides, Gloria de Campeo is beat, but, you know...
I would have the inside looking at it.
A desperately close finish here in the first running of the World Cup at Meydan. Although the connections of Gloria de Campeo, the Brazilian bred, are celebrating.
They certainly are. It looks like it. Tiago Pereira down on the inside. He wasn't celebrating, but Kevin Shea, bought the 7th, thought he had the victory.
Soft falling rain, the 3-year-old is coming at half thick. He's picking him up with every stride. Soft falling rain alongside half thick. He puts his head in front. Soft falling rain is drawing clear. Soft falling rain has won the Godolphin Mile.
Won't you come on, give me more? 'Cause all I do is moan, moan, moan through the day and through the night. Weep, 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 won't you come and hold me tight? Moan, moan, moan through the day and through the night. Oh, 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 won't you come on, give me more?
Hi there, racing fans, and welcome to this week's edition of Your Call. And nothing gives me more pleasure than to be able to speak to who I consider, and many of you consider, probably the best trainer in the world, and certainly the best trainer in South Africa, probably with the exception of the Snaiths, Mike de Kock.
James, thanks very much. Very flattering to be compared to the Snaiths.
Oh, those pretty boys, they're quite good at their game.
Yeah, they're all right.
Yeah. I hear there was a bit of banter, you know, again on the cell phone. A lot of talk about the guineas.
Listen, to be honest with you, I probably ignore most of it, so I can't remember, James.
Okay. Well, let's get into South African racing. You've been very instrumental in the past year with a lot of changes that have happened. Firstly, the merit ratings went up to 6 points, mainly due to you. We can blame you. And we got them rectified. It took us a long time.
Yeah, James, it was a crazy decision at the time. You know, I know a lot, you know what happens is, and the history with this is, a lot of the times we take horses to Dubai, they arrive there 100, they'll finish up 107, 112, win their races. And what happens is you get other trainers, owners, Godolphin, that mob, will go and moan and say these South African horses are arriving here too well handicapped. But the point is that we're taking young horses on the improve, not fully exposed, at handicap level. So they're quite entitled to improve. Plus, you're taking horses there, it's costing you $40,000 roughly to land there. So you don't want to be taking a horse that's not going to improve or not going to be better than he's rated. So I think we're quite, you know, entitled to improve on our ratings. A lot didn't. You know, a lot of them came back in their ratings. But I mean, I gave them a list of English and European horses that had improved just as much as ours had, that Godolphin and other people had brought in. So it was really unfair, and it was, I think they were just having a go at us, South Africans. So of course, they then put the pressure on our handicappers through the Asian Racing Conference, saying, you know, you need to relook at your ratings because they're not right in South Africa, which is complete nonsense. And I think, unfortunately, our handicappers fell for it and not really given it the amount of time and thought that they should have dived in and upped us by 6 pounds, which was ridiculous if you now started to analyse, as Jahan did, our horses in relation to the rest of the world. All of a sudden, it put 2 or 3 of our horses in the top 10 in the world. It's insane. So thankfully, sanity prevailed, and we got back to where we should be.
Does it not bring up the one point, and I think that this is probably the most important point as far as racing is concerned? Talk to the right people before you make a big decision.
Absolutely.
Were you consulted before they made the decision?
No, not at all. I mean, James, I'm even of the opinion that we shouldn't have our grade ones as international grade ones. You can't tell me that the Guineas in Cape Town is compared to the Guineas at Newmarket in England or the Guineas in Ireland, that they are on the same level, international Group 1 status. I still think that we are now rating our horses locally, our local ratings, and if they leave South Africa, well, they'll rate them as they want to.
So they don't actually rate them on our ratings.
He uses them as a guideline, but I mean, you take, for instance, I had horses like Mushrek, for instance, last year at 95 or 97 when he left South Africa. He gave him a rating of 104 there.
So he's just put him up 6
so
points.
what they're doing is they're retrospective handicap. They're going to have a look who he's raced with, what he's raced with, and what they now rated, and then they give them a figure. So, and it's happened to a lot of the South African horses. They've put them up anyway. So, for me, at the end of the day, we should be South Africans. Our horses race in South Africa. We must worry about ourselves and look after our own horses. When they leave South Africa, then it's for someone else to worry about. If they want to re-handicap them, re-look them, or accept the ratings as they are, that's fine. But I mean, really, we should stop worrying about what the rest of the world thinks or does, because let's face it, what is the rest of the world doing for us at the moment? Nothing. They are actually stopping us from trading with their whole paranoia about the African horse sickness.
All right, let's get on to that. Is it really a factor as far as they're concerned, or is it just a complete sort of boycott on South Africa?
James, it's for me, it's an easy way out. It's easy to say no, because at the end of the day, I'm not so sure how many of them really understand this disease. You can't tell me after 21 days in Cape Town, 90 days in Mauritius, that places like Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai will still not take a horse directly. But we can go directly into the hub of the world's racing, Newmarket, from Mauritius. It's got to spend 30 days there and then go on into Dubai. If you've got a horse going to Singapore, it's got to spend 90 days in the UK before it can go to Singapore. So it's at 90 in Mauritius, 90 in UK, and then to Singapore. I mean, where is the logic in that? How is it possible that those horses can still be sick? And how is it possible that England and Europe are prepared to take us, major countries like that, where they've probably got more to lose than any of these countries should there be an African horse sickness outbreak, which is 1 billion to 1 chance. It can never happen. They accept us, and yet Hong Kong, Singapore, and those places won't take us, and Dubai directly. There's something wrong, James. There's something holding us back, and I really believe that South Africa could be a very big player in the Middle East, Far East market.
There's no doubt about that. Now, we had Peter Gibson on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we're now starting to talk, and he was starting to talk about this lockdown situation that we use in America, where you have 2 months lockdown. Surely that's the way to go.
I think it's the only way to go, James. I don't think we need 2 months. 21 days will be plenty. PCR test before they go in, PCR test before they leave, and leave in the appropriate hours that they want you to. But I think that's something that we're going to have to work towards, because it is the foolproof way for our trading partners. They know that the horses have been out of any vector activity at all for that 21-day period. I personally see that as the only way. But you do then, unfortunately, have to plan well in advance, because let's say you want to go and race in Hong Kong, you obviously can't put the horse on a plane within a few months, because you'd have to go and train somewhere else, because you're going to lose those 21 days of exercise.
If you have a treadmill set up in your quarantine station and a horse walker, whatever, and it's completely enclosed, and it is a lockdown place at an airport. This is what the impression I got from Peter Gibson. It's going to cost money, but South Africans have got money, and I think there are people that would, put money into something.
Well,
like that.
money would not be a problem. I know just from the Mactoum side of things, they would invest in something like that. There's no doubt, and there's plenty of investors lined up here, so that's not an issue. But that would be a very good idea: a treadmill, even a swimming pool, a walker in a vector-proofed hangar. where you can still, or even a ride, even if it's a couple of 100 meters around, that the horses can hack around or trot around. That would be absolutely perfect. I mean, you know, if there's a will, we will definitely make sure that there's a way. But there's got to be that willingness from our trading partners to want to, and to allow this to happen. Now, for me, if we get something like this done, and they still don't want to accept it, then we should report them to the World Trade Organization, because that is a constraint of trade. They are really then, it's an embargo at the end of the day. And for me, if we can buy horses out of Australia and we can't send them back, and it's about time we started looking at banning those horses coming in here, because you'll do it for 1 year. And I think with our economic muscle that we do have, the Australians will say, well, hang on a second, we better make a plan here. Let's get a protocol between South Africa and Australia direct. So maybe it's time we started exercising our economic muscle, which we do have out there.
Australia is an interesting place to trade with, because as you know, when you go to Australia with your golf shoes, you have a problem. They really are very, very strict on bringing anything into that country.
Oh, look, and quite rightly so. But at the end of the day, you know, there's no need to be that over the top. I mean, the outbreak of flu was entirely their own doing. It wasn't anybody else's doing. So, you know, again, they must maybe just look at themselves. But, you know, the thing is, well, I'll tell you the most amazing thing is that a horse can leave Australia, go and race in Dubai, but it's not allowed to go back. It's then got to go on to Europe, spend a period of time in Europe, and then it can go back to Australia. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
What interests me about the Australians is that they've got a disease there that is far worse than African horse sickness, and kills people too. You know, African horse sickness doesn't have any effect on people. They trade anywhere they like.
That's right. And if there is an outbreak, they close down for 3 months, deal with it, and move on. You know, look, I suppose, you know, one's got to say that we probably have let ourselves down a little bit with our veterinary department. We you know, we're making a few mistakes. Also, the import of horses, our quarantine import is also, James, it's also not right, and it's the biggest pain in the backside. So, you know, there's a lot we need to look at. It's not only the export, it's also us. We need to get our imports right as well.
All right, let's move on. And the next thing that I want to chat to you about is you're very instrumental with a panel of trainers. And I've always found it just amazing that the trainers would have to get up and get a panel together to reclassify the drug code or the drug setup as far as how you treat it as an offender with a positive dope test, you know. And dope is the operative word. It's a positive, you know, of any nature.
Medication violations really is what it's about. You know, James, having travelled a lot and seen a lot abroad, and seen the respect given to trainers abroad, and how they're treated, especially in circumstances when there's been a breach of the rules and offences, etc., and the manner in which they are fined. I wasn't happy with what I saw in South Africa, and really at the end of the day, I said to the trainers, the ball is in your court. You're either happy to carry on like this, or we can change things, engage with the jockey club, whom I thought were at the time ready for engaging. You know, they probably were looking at a lot of things themselves and looking to make changes. I think they've been very proactive of late in making changes. You know, the new broom sweeps clean.
Yeah.
And I think that's happening. And, you know, for a trainer who has got a medication violation where he's given a shot of bute and it stayed in the system longer than he thought, or they made a mistake in the stable, to be treated as someone who's given an anabolic steroid or a stimulant, for them to be treated the same, there is no logic. It doesn't make sense. So we had to relook and reclassify all the drugs into different classifications, and obviously attach with that the penalty for the breach. And it's been a really interesting thing. I mean, Robert Bloomberg's done a massive amount of work on it, representing us, and the Jockey Club as well, and Manfred Rowe in relation, working with the Jockey Club vets in reclassifying. It's been a massive job, but it's something that's worked out, I think, really, really well, and very, very positive, if you want to excuse the pun, for the industry. And and for the trainers, and it'll be very clear now as well for the trainers that you'll know exactly where you stand in terms of penalties, offences, and what you can do and not do. I don't, and I'm not naive, and I don't believe that there are trainers out there generally who are trying to dope horses, because you can't get away with it, James, and it's not worth it. It's not worth the embarrassment. It's not worth the exposure, and you know, you lose the race, and it does your name no good.
Yeah.
So, but we all medicate horses because horses have problems. They bleed, they cough, they go lame, and we have to use medication, and those medications are what is getting trainers into trouble. There's no room for the stimulants and for the anabolic steroids and all that type of thing.
Performance enhancer. That's
Performance enhancer.
Yeah.
There's no room for it anymore. But medication, unfortunately, we have to live with because of what the game is. And horses are athletes, like any other athlete. They get injured and they need to be medicated.
How were you treated when you arrived now in England? You now got an English trainer's license. What happened with you as far as that was concerned?
Well, I haven't got the license yet. I mean, it's approved in principle, but I have to get the visa sorted before we get the rubber stamp. But yeah, James, the big play there on health and safety, your staff, horses, and all the rules that go with it. I mean, that is probably the biggest aggravation. The horse side of things is simple, rules and that, but it's the government side of things. As I said, health and safety, insurances. They come and inspect your property to see that the fire hydrant's in the right place and that you're not mixing with there can't be contamination between you and the trainer next door that you might be letting out to. There's got to be a clear division between the 2 yards. You know, like if you got a scenario in Ryan Keys now where you've got a barn and I'll have 10 horses there and Short may have 15. It wouldn't be allowed there.
Yeah.
Because now, I mean, you're in the same barn. There can be, they can run into problems if there's ever any medication violation or anything like that. So that more than anything else, not that you have to sit for any exam or anything, but it's more getting all of that, insurances, everything in place. That's the key. And it's something, I see South Africa tightening up on too now. Grooms having to have safety gear now, all that kind of insurances. I'm sure health insurance, disability insurance is all going to become. I think it's on its way. We have to really. We have to go that way.
You just spent quite a bit of time in England. How was it? As a South African who likes the sun,
Yappy.
You like having a braai. You can't just go and light a fire somewhere.
No, we still have braais there, James. It's raining, it's cold outside. Even when because there's a certain time, I can't remember what is it, the 1st of October, whatever, they take all the charcoal off the shelves because it's not braai season anymore. Well, I mean, that doesn't stop a yappy from having a braai.
You just buy up all the spots on special.
Yeah. But it's a fantastic place to train horses. Beautiful tracks, gallops, unbelievably competitive. I mean, you're dealing with hundreds and hundreds of trainers and tens of thousands of horses. Those big meetings are special. Some of the best horses in the world from all over the world. It fires you up.
How have the trainers accepted you? You obviously have met quite a few of them in Dubai. How have they accepted you as now part of the setup?
James, very well. I must be honest, I get on with most of the blokes and have a laugh and a banter and a drink together. I'm sociable. I like to play golf and get the boys around for a braai and all that type of thing. I know it's not easy. I mean, I'm not going there to run around and make best friends with anybody, but when you're working with people, you'd rather stay on good terms with them. And I must admit that it's been good, well accepted. I think they respect me, and I respect them, and I think I've had a lot of exposure to them in Dubai, and also going to a lot of the international meetings, to Breeders' Cup and Hong Kong and all that kind of thing. And I must admit, I really enjoy it. I mean, it's a harsh environment. Get on your case if you don't do the job. But you know what? Every sport you're in is a harsh environment.
Any of them that you specifically would like to, go and have a chow with, or be mates with?
James, well, I know William very well. Haggis, obviously. Stout's another bloke that you can have a laugh and a banter with in the morning if he's not singing and whistling on the gallops or talking to Michael Holding. Those are sort of my two immediate neighbours, but I mean, Clive Britton's just across the road. Next door is Gosden. You know, we'll have a banter with, and Ed Vaughan's another young bloke. Ed Dunlop. You know, blokes that you see along the line have a drink. Richard Fay is a great mate of ours. I mean, he comes and stays with us. Fozzie Stack.
Yeah.
Good boys, you know, really everyone's out there grinding, trying to make a living, James, you know, at the end of the day. It's a very, very tough environment, and they're very expensive, you know, there's no subsidies.
And you've become quite good mates with quite a few of the Irish. They're a special breed, aren't they?
Irish I love. I enjoy the Irish. I really enjoy going to Ireland. What happens as well is a couple of the Aussie trainers, when they come to Newmarket, they stable at Abington Place. A lot of those international horses. I mean, Black Caviar was stable there,
yeah. Which
is actually really nice. I like having them around. I mean, they enjoy a braai and a banter, the Aussie boys. So I'm really enjoying it.
Mike, we're going to have to move on, and we're going to chat about Dubai, and this might be the strongest string that you've ever had for Dubai.
It is, James. There's no doubt about it. But Dubai is getting stronger and stronger, so you have to up your game. There's people spending huge money for the carnival. The Maktoums themselves are spending tens of millions. So we've got to up our game. It's just unfortunate that travelling has been as arduous as it has been.
Well, we're going to wait until next week to chat to you all about Dubai. So it's going to be a mouth-watering experience. You've got a lot of nice horses going there, and we're looking forward to having that chat. So don't miss next week's episode, where Mike and I will be chatting about the whole Dubai Carnival.